Guys, what's going on? Welcome to part 2 of the DeLorean Twin Turbo Restoration Revival series we got going on. So what do we got for part 2? So I think I'd like to get this car to move. So what is the difference between driving and moving? Driving, in my opinion, is like all the rest of these really good YouTubers, where they take their cars and they go to the gas station, across country, some of them, to me, that's driving. Moving it is a little bit of a different story. Moving it, in my opinion, is just getting this thing to move in the shop, maybe go down the driveway, get it outside so we can clean this thing out, wash it and stuff. To me, that's moving. So I think I'd like to get it to that point. So to do that, what we have to do is we got to tackle this brake system and we got to do the clutch system. The clutch system exists with some hydraulics, master and slave we got to look at, make sure that's good to go. We got to make sure our master brake cylinder is good. Hopefully bleed these lines and go from there, and see if we can get some of this stuff to stay, and we'll try moving it. So I think that's what I'd like to do. And if we got time in this one, maybe see what's left of that coolant system. We'll go to the very bottom of it, the lowest point. We'll crack it. We'll see if there's anything left in there. I really doubt it. And maybe put some water in this thing and just, see what happens. So I think that's kind of the goal for part 2. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, so just like the first video, I won't sit here and I won't jibber jab the whole time. I'll just pop in and point out some of the obvious. Nice little mouse nest still down there. We got to get into the secret compartment here, the secret compartment, just like the fuel pump. And this is going to house where our master clutch is going to be. And then the pipe that goes down from the filler neck to where you fill up your fuel. And then down here, it looks like it's loose already, yep, is going to be the master brake. So then we got to pull this compartment off too. So let's get this one off, and then we'll get that one off. We'll go from there. I guess I've worked on too many cars since my last DeLorean restoration because I could have sworn the master clutch was underneath there. It was just a reservoir. All right, we'll go to that second one because I guess they're both underneath there. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that since that cap was loose, once upon a time within the past couple of years or maybe decades, somebody tried putting something in there. Man, look at the steering rack, just covered. Master is right there. And it looks pretty decent, but I know that doesn't really mean a lot. You know, that can mean a lot of stuff. There is fluid in the reservoir. Let's see how it looks. Use our little tool here, trim tool. I think it's hard as a rock. Now let's see if it's liquid. You see it in there? Yeah, it's definitely liquid. Well, that can mean one out of two things now, I guess, at this point. We can either pull this off, go put it on the bench, see if it'll break bleed, or we could just fill these both up with fluid and go push on the pedals and see what happens. I'm pretty sure you know which way I'm gonna go. All right, they want DO4 in, and we only have DO3, and it has been opened for don't know how long. Fluid's in, didn't even drain the old stuff. Well, let's go see what we got here. Rock hard. I'm just gonna give her a nice little mite here, see if she frees. Nope. That one is rock hard. All right, let's go for the brakes. Same thing. Yep, no bueno. I do have upstairs in the parts room, I do have a new, aka off my car, the old master cylinders here, as well as the slave. I'm starting to think the slave obviously is going to be bad too, now looking at this. So I think the goal here now is to pull all these two off, and then I'll put my old ones on. I believe they were free. I just wanted to change them just in case. So I don't know, let's go try it out. All right, sorry about the air compressor running. Here's the master out of the car. You know, we at least got to try to free it up. This is the one out of my personal car. This one was also stuck when I first got it, so I just replaced it. I did free it up a couple of years ago, so it's good to go now. This is going to be our backup, just in case. Here's the master for the clutch. You can see it's pretty bad. Stiff as a rock. And then here is the spare out of my car as well. So when I first got my car, the guy had this with it, and the replacement part usually says DMC on it. This one is a little different. So I wanted the DMC one. So this one should work pretty good. But again, this will be our backup spare, just in case. All right, so the only problem with our master here is here's our old boot. So this is not going to seal anymore. So my idea was to clean this up. And since we know this cylinder is going to be pitted in there, as you guys saw how bad of shape that was in there, we know there's going to be pitted stuff in that cylinder. So those walls are not going to be so nice. So definitely fluid's going to leak by there and want to come out the front here. So the only thing I think to do is to take our spare one and steal the boot off it and hopefully not destroy it, because this boot's not in the best of shape either, but it's better than that. So let's give it a shot. Well, unfortunately, guys, this seal, since it's half metal, half rubber, it's going to have to be destroyed to get over this lip. And that sucks. So close, but I think if I get this off, it's going to tear and it's not going to hold and it's just going to leak. So close, but we did get it freed up, which is pretty awesome. But I think just so it doesn't puke all over the car, we're going to end up using this because I already tore it right here. See if you guys can see that. I already tore it right there. Trying to get it off, and I'm afraid I'm just going to keep tearing it. So it's like pressed on, as you can see. There's a press here, press here, press here, and a press here. So they put on this boot, and then it's, like I said, it's like half metal, half rubber. This is rubber up here, and the ring is metal. and then it's pressed on, and it's not supposed to come off. So that sucks. So we did get it freed up, which is awesome, but here we go. Second spare part going on. Why do you say we took a little intermission from working, and I want to show you what she's collected over the years. So when they bought this car in '85, she started collecting a bunch of stuff that she found, like in newspapers and whatever came with the car, expos, all sorts of DeLorean things. I do want to say that after looking through this, I'm almost wondering if he bought this car for her. I mean, maybe that explains the low miles. He never drove the thing, and her collecting all this stuff, I don't know. But here it is, look at this. It's marked DeLorean on here, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. I mean, documents and documents and documents. I just want to show you a cool few things that I found while looking through this. Okay, so for first up, we got the Pulsar 2 control head. So this is that little antenna you see in the back. That is a radio a telephone that used to be in there. So that's pretty cool. So you have the Craig radio and the speakers in there, your limited warranty statement. That's also pretty cool. That's original to the car. I actually have a few of these. This also came with all the DeLoreans brand new. This is, I think, the third one. I think all of my cars have these, so also pretty cool to see it's in good shape. In the box, there is tons and tons and tons of DeLorean Club stuff from the original owner and the guy before me. They joined the clubs and they went to a bunch of the expos, so a bunch of stuff there. So here's the used vehicle disclosure label when the guy I bought it from picked it up. So there you go, 17,984 miles were on it when he bought it. And then like my other DeLoreans too, you have a warranty 1981 new vehicles card from them, and as well as the consumer information cards. I believe these all came with the DeLorean. There you go, on the backside, emission warranties as well. This was one of the more cooler things that I found in there. This is a vehicle maintenance schedule. Now, of course, the whole maintenance schedule is not filled out, as well as the Barn Find one DeLorean came with this as well, and it's also not filled out. I don't think anybody really filled these things out, but inside of there came this cool inspection sheet. Let me wrap my arms around the camera here. Check that out. So this was the pre-delivery inspection. So before the first owner took delivery of it, there you go, William had to sign off on it. He was the service manager. There's the owner that took it over. If you can see the date there, that is 11/5 of 1981. And then the dealer had it in at 10/13 of 1981. So pretty cool. So he took delivery of it, and then they had to go through this checklist and go through there, make sure everything was good to go before he took delivery of it. Inside there's this folder in there that she started collecting some stuff. And inside of there, here you go. You got a bunch of the DeLorean Expo stuff. So 1999, I think it goes through a few of them. They went to a decent amount of them. The one before it, 98 there. And then Nashville there, that's 96. This one's pretty cool. This is DeLorean Expo 89 they went to. And then this one's 2000. They also attended that one. She wanted to keep the original delivery slip, but she gave me the copy of when they took it over, and they took it 3/6 of 1985. He went and picked it up from that same dealership that it was delivered to. So the first owner, I guess, sold it back to the original dealership, and then the guy I purchased it from, his wife printed this off for me, so pretty cool. And this is where I wanted to point out the mileage on here. The mileage says 18,133, I think it says there in the middle. I'll let you be the determination of that. So just about 1,000 miles they put on this thing. And then in the rest of that folder, there's some service bulletins that they printed off in 1988 and 89. And then, of course, more club stuff as well on here. Moving on, there's like this 1980s kind of cool folder in there, which was kind of funny. And inside of that, we got more goodies as well. So check this one out. This is an original, I believe, gosh, I can't find a date on it, but I want to say it's early 80s. This is super cool. You could go here and purchase some stuff. So check that out, like shirts and ties, hats, placards, some parts. Super cool, like a big manual if you want to work on your stuff. And then there you go, like turbocharger kits they sold and stuff. Pretty cool. So I want to say that's early 80s for sure. So this is one of my more favorite parts with this find. She clipped some paper from back in the day. So this was 7 of 1982. So the DeLorean factory is still running, but here's an article that says the decline and the fall of the DeLorean dream. And check that out. It's like a DeLorean sitting in a field all decaying and a bunch of chickens all over and stuff. So pretty sad there. And then below that one, she clipped this piece of paper in 1992, and it's, there you go, the dream dies, but the car lives. And it's like an article stating that the DeLorean started getting a little more popular. Pretty cool that she clipped that and even marked it. Some of the cooler things that came with the car. All right, and then we got this book here, the Turbocharger Kit book that I found the date on it. It was 1976. This must have been something he just had, but inside of the book was stuffed this, and let me pull it out really quick. This is one of the main reasons why he gave me the book. He was like, just keep the whole thing. Check that out. So that's the twin island turbo system on the PRV. But that's basically what that setup looks behind. There's the downpipes to the turbos, those goofy mufflers that kind of sit sideways on there. We have our oil lines that all run through there. So there you go. So that was a D gull wing for members only, July and August. I want to say this is 1982 or so. Again, can't find a date on it, but maybe if I looked just a little, oh, there you go. So 1982. So speak of the devil, we're finding it as we look through, but pretty cool. So that was one of the cooler things on there with the twin turbo system on the front page of that. And then the one behind it, it just showed what it would do if you had the twin turbo system on there. So there's the stock compared to the turbocharged chart. So I believe this was also with the twin turbo setup. They just mentioned it's all about turbocharging your DeLorean. So not sure if this was for the BAE kit, the single turbo, or if this was like the twin island turbo setup, but pretty cool that that was in there too. And then, of course, you get the big technical owner's guide and the parts manual. We just saw that in that 1981 or 2 or 3, whatever year that was, that brochure where they offered this. And this is going to have, this front page is starting to fall out a little bit, but it's basically going to have like all of, sorry, trying to fumble this all, all your contents in there on how to work on the DeLorean and stuff. And another one of those binders was in here, but it's pretty much just like all service bulletins again on there. Other than that, the box is just filled with DeLorean World magazines from the 90s and the 2000s, and just unbelievable amount of DeLorean World books in here. So they kept all of them, and that's also super cool that they managed to keep all these. Super cool. So she was really into these DeLoreans, and I can't blame her at all. All right, so before I pull off these wheels, I know I'm gonna get a comment that all these tires look brand new on here. And it is true. When John pushed the car into the garage, obviously all the tires were flat, as you can see from my first pictures when I found it. So John and his brother decided to go get some new cheap tires all the way around it so they could get it into the garage. So that's why the tires look new. I've never seen something like that on a DeLorean. That's kind of interesting. All right, so here's what we got going on. So no matter what I do, I cannot get fluid to these brake calipers. I tried pulling a vacuum on it. I tried forcing air the other way. Nothing. I couldn't hear gurgling from the master. Nothing. So what I did is I started at the master and I worked my way back, cracking the hard lines, and they were all getting fluid. But I noticed one thing. They all stopped at one point. And this happened on my car, my dad's. It's going to happen on the barn find. And it's happening to the twin turbo car right now. Basically, these brake hoses being 44 years old and rubber, they collapse in on themselves. So if I hold this up to the camera, I know you guys can't see it, but there's no way anything's getting through this. If you force air through it, nothing comes out the other end. Essentially, this hose inside of it swells up and it closes in on itself and it's garbage. So I even thought for the video, I'm like, well, you know, I could try to drill this out, you know, let's make it interesting. Just not worth it. You know, these got to be replaced anyways. So let's add that to the replacement part. So I was lucky enough to find some DeLorean Go stainless brake lines here in the States for only 80 bucks shipped. I think normally they're like 110 bucks plus shipping from the UK. So I was pretty psyched about that. All right, so the other thing in the clutch system is the slave is gone. I'm gonna hold this up to the camera and you're gonna see just how pitted it is. It's actually pushed back from me trying to push on the clutch beforehand, but it is so pitted, guys. There's no way we're gonna be able to save this. Basically, we're gonna replace this. I have the package here. I got all the clutch stuff. I got a new master clutch, stainless clutch line, and slave cylinder, but we'll just put the slave cylinder on it for now. So that's quite a bummer. So two things we got to replace here, but at least we can keep moving along here. So let's go ahead and let's throw on these brake hoses and keep moving along and see if we can vacuum them out. Okay, real quickly, just want to show everybody where the lines are at. We have one line back there. See that guy? This is also kind of funny too. The rear shocks used to be red. Look at that. So red shocks in the rear. And we'll come to the front. Here's the front line. There you go. So hard line back there comes up, wraps around, and goes into the caliper. And this side, obviously these other two are gonna be the same, but this side, look at this. The front shocks used to be yellow. So that's kind of funny, but there you go. There's the other line there. And then this was the line I took out. It would be right there. So plugs into that bottom there and then goes up to there. And we'll jump underneath. So normally right up there, that's where that one would come out. And then here's where the driver's side rear comes out right there. You guys see that? Don't want to blind you. How do I do this without breaking it? All right, let's give those pedals a feel here. Now that we bled them out. Try to get in here. Let's start with, let's do the brake first. Oh wow, a lot of resistance. Good. Ooh, and I can actually hear the caliper behind me kind of pinching back there. Nice. And the clutch line. Very nice. Okay. I think we're ready to head to the back again. I'll put the injection system back on. And let's see if this thing moves. Fingers crossed. Let's get to it. Boom, and just like that, the car is put back together and we got the wheels back on it. I think all we gotta do now is lower it down. See what happens. Let's see if we can get this thing to move. All right, we got it closed up. Good to see if this thing moves. The only thing I just noticed was after I bumped it over, our accumulators, or our distributor is really starting to leak now. So we'll make this short and sweet. Move these. Fingers crossed. There's one last thing I gotta grab. Grab this guy, just in case. All right. First time sitting in the car. Oh my gosh, does it stink. I'm gonna keep probably 1 foot out, 1 foot in maybe. Clutch. Still got brake. Gas. Let's see what happens. That clutch is really... Wow, the clutch is really still got to be bled. I'm to the floor. I think it's getting too flooded. So I think what's happening is it's just getting too flooded. Oh my gosh, my foot is to the mat, literally. I can't get it any lower. Whew, it stinks. And just like that, from that spot to that spot, we got it to what I meant by move. Now, unfortunately, I really wanted to take this thing around the building for a lap or two. It would have been great for our air-cooled motor right now, but that fuel distributor is just puking between the injectors, and that motor is getting flooded so bad, and I really don't want to risk the piston wash going on with this thing. I mean, I was to the floor that entire time. I don't know if you heard it when I first started it up. It kind of wanted to skyrocket. It's really, really flooded. So between that, the one half of the motor has the original plugs in it that are probably all fouled now from all the fuel, but none of the ignition components touched. I'm pretty happy with that. You know, I did say in the beginning of this, just to move. I knew it probably wasn't going to be able to drive. There's so much going wrong with this, but we figured out the clutch works. That's awesome. And the brakes do work. I did hit the brake pedal going backwards. It kind of wanted to take off into my dad's boat right there. So I did hit the brake pedal on it, and it did stop. But I just had to push it just a little back here just to clear the door. And it does seem like something's kind of hung up now on one of the brakes. But overall, I'm very happy with the outcome. You know, I did just want it to move. So pretty happy with that. Pretty cool. But I think at this point, we got to start restoring this thing. You know, I did have my fun going through it, getting it to run, getting it to move, you know, on the original stuff. But I think it does, you know, got to be restored at this point. So part 3, we're going to focus on restoring this thing. I'm hoping to kind of make it a faster restoration for you guys, where you don't got to sit through an hour of me, you know, showing every nut and bolt coming off this thing. But, you know, we'll go through it. We'll clean it. Interior's got to be looked at. We can finally get that injection system rebuilt the right way. New fuel lines, injectors, you guys know the deal. So we're going to focus on that. And then for part 4, it's going to be kind of interesting. If we get to part 4, part 4, I want to run something, guys, by you. And part 3, maybe people disagree with me, people will agree with me. But part 4 is going to be a great video. I got something planned, I think, for this, and I think it's the perfect candidate for it. So I really want to appreciate you guys for checking out part 2 and part 1 if you came from there. You know, your guys' time, like I said in the last video, it's super important. So for you to spend it here and watch me wrench on this stuff and try to get it to run and whatnot, it does mean a lot. So I really do appreciate it. That's all I really got to say, guys. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you in part 3. I promise it's next video.